Welcome to Best 5. Discover history's craziest war facts. Don't forget to like and stay tuned. Number 5. The Battle of Zama's Elephant Charge. In 202 BC, the Second Punic War between Rome and Carthage was heading toward its dramatic conclusion. On the battlefield of Zama, two of history's most brilliant military leaders faced off, Scipio Africanus for Rome and Hannibal Barca for Carthage. Hannibal, who had already shocked the Romans by marching elephants over the Alps, had one final trick up his sleeve. As his last gamble, he unleashed a herd of mighty war elephants, towering beasts that could crush infantry and create chaos within enemy ranks. The sight of these elephants charging must have been terrifying for the Roman soldiers. Massive, armored, and with long tusks capable of impaling soldiers, they were designed to intimidate and destroy. But Scipio, with his tactical brilliance, had a counter ready. Instead of meeting the elephants head-on, he ordered his men to use a strategic formation and blow their loud war horns. The cacophony of noise, along with the spears and javelins hurled at the elephants, threw the beasts into a panic. Confused, many elephants turned around and began to stampede back into Hannibal's own forces, crushing Carthaginian soldiers underfoot. Hannibal's secret weapon became a lethal disaster for his army. The reversal was devastating, and the once mighty elephants symbolized the crumbling of Hannibal's last hope. This single moment is often credited with turning the tide of the battle and securing Rome's dominance over the Mediterranean for centuries. Number 4. The Ghost Army of World War II. During World War II, deception was as much a part of the battlefield as bullets and bombs. In 1944, the U.S. Army created one of the most bizarre and daring strategies ever conceived. An entire division of inflatable tanks, sound effects, and fake radio chatter known as the Ghost Army. This top-secret unit, officially called the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, was made up of artists, sound engineers, and set designers rather than traditional soldiers. Their mission? To fool the German forces by creating the illusion of large, formidable armies where none actually existed. Using inflatable tanks that looked real from a distance, loudspeakers blaring the sounds of marching troops and rolling vehicles, and fake radio operators transmitting misleading messages. The Ghost Army moved across Europe to stage phony invasions and military operations. Their ability to trick German reconnaissance planes and ground troops into believing they were facing an entire division saved countless Allied lives. One of their greatest deceptions occurred just days before the D-Day landings, where the Ghost Army used their trickery to mislead the Germans about the actual invasion site. Their efforts confused German forces and helped ensure the success of the Normandy invasion. The audacity of using creativity and art to wage psychological warfare is a reminder that war isn't always won by brute force alone. Number 3. The War Elephants of Ancient India. In ancient India, one of the most fearsome sights on the battlefield was an army of war elephants charging forward. These massive creatures, towering over soldiers and horses alike, were used as living tanks by Indian and Southeast Asian armies for centuries. Covered in armor and equipped with deadly tusks fitted with blades, these elephants could trample enemy ranks, crush fortifications, and spread fear and chaos among opposing forces. The sheer size and strength of the elephants made them nearly unstoppable. Commanders positioned them at the front lines, where they could plow through infantry formations with ease. In addition to their physical power, the psychological impact on enemy troops was immense. Facing a wall of charging elephants would cause panic, breaking enemy lines before the battle even began. One of the most famous uses of war elephants was by King Porus during the Battle of the Hydaspes in 326 BCE, where he faced Alexander the Great. Despite being outnumbered, Porus deployed his elephants strategically, causing significant losses to Alexander's forces. Although Porus eventually lost the battle, his war elephants left a lasting impression on Alexander's army, showing the incredible advantage these animals could provide on the battlefield. However, there were also risks. Elephants, when injured or frightened, could become uncontrollable, turning on their troops in a frenzy. Despite this danger, they remained a critical part of military strategy in many parts of the ancient world. Number 2. The Screaming Arrows of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan, one of the greatest military commanders in history, was known for his ingenious use of psychological warfare, and one of the most terrifying tactics he employed was the use of whistling arrows. These arrows, specially designed to emit a high-pitched scream as they flew through the air, were used to strike fear into the hearts of his enemies. Imagine standing on the battlefield, waiting for the enemy to approach, when suddenly a chilling, eerie whistle cuts through the silence. These screeching arrows, flying by the thousands, would create a sound so unnerving that entire armies could lose morale even before the real fighting began. The Mongols used this tactic to disrupt and disorient their enemies, creating confusion and panic that could weaken the enemy's defenses. Beyond their psychological effect, these arrows were also deadly weapons. Mongol archers were highly trained, and their composite bows could shoot with incredible accuracy and power. These arrows were not just frightening, but lethal, often taking down enemies at great distances before they even had the chance to fight back. The fear induced by these arrows was just one aspect of Genghis Khan's larger strategy of using fear to dominate his enemies. His campaigns were marked by brutal efficiency, and the legends of his ruthless tactics spread far and wide, making many cities surrender without a fight. The combination of psychological warfare and lethal precision made Genghis Khan's army one of the most feared forces in history. Number 1. The Spartans' last stand at Thermopylae. Topping our list is one of the most legendary battles in history: the Spartans' defiant stand against the Persian Empire at the Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BC. In this iconic confrontation, King Leonidas of Sparta led a small force of around 300 Spartans, along with several thousand other Greek soldiers, against the massive army of Persian King Xerxes, which some estimate to have been hundreds of thousands strong. The narrow pass of Thermopylae was the perfect battlefield for the Greeks, allowing them to hold off wave after wave of Persian attacks for 3 days. The Spartans' unyielding bravery and combat prowess became the stuff of legend, inspiring later generations with their commitment to die in defense of their homeland. While the battle ended in a Greek defeat due to a traitor revealing a hidden path, the Spartans' sacrifice gave the rest of Greece enough time to prepare for future battles, eventually leading to a Greek victory in the war. The story of the 300 Spartans has been immortalized in history, literature, and film, symbolizing courage against impossible odds. Their incredible stand remains one of the most celebrated military moments in history, earning them the top spot on our list of insane war facts.